All right, the new mayor-elect this week announcing his first, well, no, actually, he's had a couple of appointments he's already mentioned, but this is the one we've all been waiting for, and that is who would he pick as his police chief? Would he stay with C.J. Davis, who was picked by Mayor Strickland a couple of years ago, 2.5 years ago, actually, or would he go with some new blood? Well, in the end, he decided to keep Chief Davis right where she is, saying that he wants a pandemic-level response to crime, and this was the reason he told me in a sit-down interview earlier this week.
The most important thing is making sure that we have a police director that is committed to earning the trust and faith of the officers throughout this city, that can inspire them, and also earning the trust and faith of the citizens of this community. And she has reassured me that she's committed to the work, and we are talking about what activities we can do in the very early stages of our administration to make sure that we're having a significant impact on crime.
And they are getting ready, apparently, Otis and everyone here, to unveil quite a few initiatives here shortly after the swearing in on January 1st. One that they did let out of the bag is a repeat offender initiative, which will create a database that will allow all of us to track what's happening in the courts a lot faster, especially with the most violent offenders among us. And we let Chief Davis expand on that when I sat down with her about that issue earlier this week.
Stay in my lane, but I'm finding myself having to really look at what happens after we have charged an individual and creating a dashboard, not just for the Memphis Police Department to utilize, but for all my partners, my criminal justice partners, to be able to, and even the public, a public-facing dashboard that identifies some of the worst in our community. It's public record. I think that there has to be exposure to the problem, and until we start exposing some of these individuals and some of the egregious things that are happening, I don't think that there's going to be a natural sort of response to take everything seriously.
What are your thoughts about the announcement, Chris?
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. I think that he wants some continuity, and that obviously would be a big change. He obviously reserves the right to look at this again, really at any time. This is subject to council approval like the other appointments. But look, I don't think the police department in this city is the problem, is driving the crime problem. I think it's obviously first and foremost the criminal element. I think secondarily it's the justice system, whether we're prosecuting these people, whether judges are hearing cases. I think after that it's probably the political leadership that, despite all of the words over the past decade, never found the resolve to commit the funding to hire the hundreds of extra officers that this community needs immediately. So I think Police Chief Davis, I can't comment on whether she's doing an excellent job, but she's way down the list of what's driving this issue. I hope that she does a great job. I look forward to the rollout, especially the public information. The public, we've talked about this up here, the public has a right to know, they have a need to know what's going on with these repeat criminals, who's getting pled out, how many people are entering back their community, how long the sentences is, all of that needs to be public information. But I hope she does well, and again, he always has the opportunity to revisit this if it's not working.
Reverend, she told me it's awfully hard to have a department that made 27,000 arrests last year, but only 40 cases went to trial in the same year. That speaks volumes to me.
Well, there's no question about that, and Chris has waxed eloquent on the issue since we've known him. I think that Paul Young made an excellent decision by retaining Chief Davis. I think she is thoughtful, professional, and I know that she's respected out here in the community. The other thing I know that might be surprising is that she's a tough cookie. Mm-hmm. She's serious about the law enforcement, and I agree with her. I've spoken with her personally as well. She wants to keep these people in jail once they commit, especially a serious crime. She wants them in jail, but that's going to require working with, as Mayor-elect Young said, with other agencies, and I'm looking forward to seeing the results of that.
But of course, Otis, there's been some heat already for Mayor-elect Young for having made this decision. She's not necessarily popular with different segments of the community. Right. What's your read on just politically how this is going to go over as his first big decision?
Well, I think obviously there will be, and there's already been, some naysayers here. from a lot of different sectors. The reformers, if you want to call them that, they think that she has not done what she needed to do. There are still a lot of people who blame her for the Tyre Nichols beating death.
Performing the Scorpion Unit.
Because she formed the Scorpion Unit. And there are others who just don't think that she was transparent enough and communicating enough with the public. Some of those are valid reasons. But I agree somewhat with Ken. I'm not going to say it was an excellent choice, but I will say it was a wise choice. And to Chris's point, you don't want to start out your administration, especially someone who has never held elected office, having to deal with trying to find a new police chief or police director. That is a monumental task, and he needs to be focusing on other things. Now, the changes that they're going to roll out, I'm looking for them as well. I don't think the repeat criminals are all that worried right now about being exposed, about being repeat criminals. But if we can come up with a mechanism, and that involves the courts, to keep people and hold them accountable, put them in jail, keep them in jail, then I think they might get the message. So I'm waiting on this.
Let me add one thing. What we're going to find out, I think, about Mayor-elect Young is that he has the bona fides to stand up for what he believes in, regardless of who opposes him. I think we're going to find that his articulation is going to be above reproach, and that he's not going to be afraid to openly confront those who criticize him, especially criticize him without reason.
I agree with that.
On a broader topic, and we're running out of time here, but he's got several more appointments to make, and many are going to be announced on Tuesday, we hear. I'm hearing that a lot of them may be the same, maybe some carryovers from the Strickland administration. And to your point, why reinvent the wheel? If someone is competent in the job, you don't want to start your administration with a bunch of new people running all these departments where the first 6 months could turn into chaos until these new directors learn the ropes.
I agree with that. And again, I don't know which specific ones he's talking about. I'm sure there will be some people who are going to leave anyway. But yeah, if it's not broken, don't try to fix it. And so that's fine with me. You know, he's making the decision here. He got elected mayor. It's his responsibility. I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt.
And it goes to his integrity again. And all of these administrative employees serve at will anyway.
Right.
I think he has the courage and the integrity. If they are not doing the job that he wants them to do, he has no problem getting rid of them.
And hopefully they're all aware of that.
Absolutely.
Several mayors have done that. So, all right, we're going to leave it there. When we come back, we're going to talk about the school voucher expansion. Governor Lee really wants this to go through. He's got to get through the legislature, but he's not getting the support he wants from some of the school districts that are in some of the conservative-leaning districts where he's going to need those votes to get the program through. We'll talk about that in just a moment.